What's up guys, welcome back, and in this series we are going to build a landing page using Laravel Admin. Now in case you're wondering what our end product might be at the end, we'll have something that actually looks like this. We'll be adding any set or any piece of data over here from the admin side rather than adding it from the front end side or editing the code over here. Now we'll be using Laravel Admin, of course. We'll have different sections. We'll have the homepage section over here. We'll have the, how do you call this? We'll have the agencies over here, or the partners. We'll have the things that the company deals with over here. We'll have projects and list them over here. We'll have the client feedback, and we'll also have the counters. We'll also have a group of people here. We have the team, and subscribing to newsletter, the user personal details, and some pages over here which will be generated from the admin side basically. Now just to start with, we'll be using Laravel Admin. Now Laravel Admin is just an administrative interface builder for Laravel which can help you to build CRUD applications very easily, very fast. Now you don't need a lot, you only need to install the Laravel Admin and you know how basically things work. Now before you install Laravel Admin, you need to have Laravel installed already in your machine. Now I'll quickly navigate and open a new folder, and I'll create a Laravel project, and I'll call my folder name, maybe I'll call it landing, something like that. Landing is enough. Okay, now I'll have, just a moment. Okay, I'll have composer, create project, and I'll call the project something like okay, it's a Laravel project, and I'll call the project landing, something like that. Now basically we'll see the admin interfaces using Laravel Admin, and we'll also introduce our UI that we have. I have the folder called home UI over here that we introduce in our project, and we'll see how things goes probably, and at the end you'll understand Laravel Admin as far as creating backend applications is concerned and making your work easier. Now with that being said, the project is already installed successfully. I have the home UI folder over here, and as I said previously in our previous first tutorial, if you didn't check our first tutorial on Laravel series, please go and check on it. I'll pick everything and put it in my assets. This folder is on the link below, you can check on it. So I'll paste them in the public folder here. I hope there's no clashes. There's a clash. I'll not be using this style. Okay, I'll just delete this folder and I'll rename this to CSS. Good. So I have CSS and every other thing. So for the sake of index.html, since I only have I'm not going to do much, and I'm not going to create several pages in this Laravel project. I'll go to resources, views, and I'll only, okay, it's I think I uploaded it in the wrong folder. It's called landing, sorry. So we'll redo what we did again. We'll have to pick everything that is over here except index.html. I'll copy it. I'll go to my landing folder over here, public, and I'll actually paste it over here because this is where I want my assets to be. And the next thing I'll quickly do is have index.html. I'll copy the contents. What am I saying? Okay, landing, and then we'll go to resources, views, welcome. I'll only use this welcome alone. I'll not have any other page. So it's good to say that I'll only use it alone, and I can paste it over there. And then I can open my folder, and the folder is called landing. Okay, now don't be confused, this is just a normal HTML. This is a normal Laravel project. I've just imported the HTML and CSS I have, and as I said again, the link is in the description. You can download it. It is actually uploaded in OneDrive. You can download it and add it in your project as I have added mine. Now we need to serve this application. I'll run php artisan serve, and then there we are, have the port, and the URL that we need to type here is 8000. Good. So here is everything that we need over here. So we need to actually incorporate Laravel Admin so that we can actually not just having a static website, but something dynamic over here. Now, to begin with, we need this Laravel Admin installed in our project. Now, it's quite easy. In the installation, there's a very good documentation over the same through this URL. So we need to first run this composer require nco Laravel Admin. Forgive me for copy pasting currently. I'm just speeding up my process. So we have composer require nco Laravel Admin, and then I click enter. And it will be done in a few minutes time. It's already installed. The next thing we need to configure it. Maybe we should run this to run commands to publish assets and config, and then I'll paste this over here, and there we are. Then the next thing you'll notice that in the config I have an admin file over here. Now this is where basically we'll be configuring Laravel Admin from, changing the logo, the name, and many other things I'll be doing in a few minutes time. Now, what do we need to do next? We need to set up our database and then run PHP artisan admin installed. So I'm assuming you have PHP my admin installed. Now I'll create a new database. Let me call the database maybe something like landing. Okay. Now this is our database. I'll just navigate quickly to .env where I'm supposed to be changing my database credentials. Now this is my database password. You might be having a different password, or rather you have a different password. I have the username, which might be the same or different in that case, and I have my database name, which is called learning. And what do I need to do next? I need to actually run this piece of code over here, PHP artisan admin install, and PHP artisan admin install. Now there's an error, there's access denied because I have a wrong database password, obviously. Now if I run it again, it will install all the tables required for a project. We have the users, password resets, plus many other things. It will seed some details in the Laravel, in the admin table. Now let me refresh here real quick, and let's check on landing. We have several tables. On migration, we have several tables. We have the admin menu, users, admin users. We also have the users of the system, which we'll not be using right now. And with that being said, let's see. Now the next thing, if you want to notice or see whether Laravel admin is installed, one, your console must be clean. There's no error once you run the final command, that is PHP artisan admin install. And then we only need to type /admin in our current URL. And then we need to log in. The username is admin and the password is admin, and then we log in. Now this is what you'll be having at first. This is what it looks like. You'll have a Laravel admin, and then this is what you'll have at first: the extension, the environment, the dependencies currently being used in your project. You also have admin over here. You have the users. This is admin users, not the users of the system. This is the administrative users. You can assign roles, you can assign permissions. We have the menu. You can only introduce menus over here that will appear over here. And you also have the logs, who did what, which user did what, and the path, plus the method used and the IP of the user, right? Now, with that being said, let's dig in and see what we'll do first. Now, the first thing I need us to actually do is we'll begin by focusing on several aspects of the project. One, I'll focus on the logo. I'll focus on the home title, maybe this. I'll focus on the home text. I'll also focus on contact details, that is contact number, contact email. The logo is already being said. And let me just add a couple of, let me just create a database that, maybe let me call it settings, that will actually have different tables that I've stated currently. So we'll create a database. Of course, you'll need to create a model. PHP artisan make model. Now we create a model. How do we call the model? Let's call it settings, and then we'll have a migration over the same. Now we have a model called setting, and we've already created a settings table. Let's go to the database, migrations, and we have here the migrations. Now we're going to create our table first of all, right? So what do we need to have? We'll have a table. We'll have, it's a string. So the first thing we need to have is the logo. The logo will be a name based on the logo will be a name based on what is inserted in the uploads folder, maybe where we'll insert our image. That is the name we'll have here, which is the image name, something like that. Now the next thing we really need to have is the home title. So we'll have a table, and let's call it home title. And the next thing we'll also have is the home, and it's a string, it's home title. And then the next thing we'll have the table, and it's a string too, and we'll also have it's the home text. So basically this home text is actually what we have written over here. So we have the title, we have the text, and we have the logo. We also have contact information, like this for example is the contact email. So we'll have a table, it's a string, so we'll have contact email. We'll also have another table, and the table is okay, let me just use a string for the contact number. I understand it should be an integer. Now with that being said, we need to run this migration. So we'll have PHP artisan migrate. Now once you run a migration, you'll notice that there's a settings table created in your database. Over here we have settings with the different columns that we had introduced. Now the next thing probably we need to do is that we actually need to replicate this information in our admin panel over here. Now first we need to create a menu for that. Now under that menu we'll call it settings. We'll have to choose a relevant logo. I don't know, you can choose any for settings, and you'll have to scroll. You can choose any that you feel like choosing. Let me choose this, okay, because I see there's nothing better than that over here currently. Okay, so the next thing is that we need to pass our URL. Our URL will be something like settings. Now you might be asking, how do I get this particular URL? Now it's quite simple. If you need to create a controller, all controllers will appear in app admin controllers folder over here. Now if you need to create a controller over here, you can create it manually, but I recommend this type of creating because it binds with your models. So we have PHP artisan admin make. Now we're going to create a controller. Let's say settings controller or setting controller. And then we are going to have a model, map it to a model. Now the model we are mapping it to, just a moment. We are going to map it to a model called settings. So we'll have app/models /app/models/settings. I ought to have called it setting, not settings. Okay, and then we'll have this. We are being told add the following route to app/admin/routes. Now this is what we'll be taking over here. And if you go to admin, and you'll see there's routes here. Now this is where we add all admin routes. Now we have settings controller class. Now this is the URL or the URI that you're going to add over here. That is why it's called settings. And then you submit. Now you can align them. Where do you want it to appear? I definitely want it to appear just below the dashboard over there, since I don't have any other thing. And then I save. Now once you refresh the page, you'll notice that settings is over here. Now I talked about the config admin.php that we are going to do some configurations here. Now this is the first configuration that I'm probably going to do. We will make this sidebar not to collapse. If you look at line 292, we'll make this sidebar not to collapse actually, because I need it to stay like this. Good. Now if I click on settings, there's something you'll notice, that any piece of line or any piece of column over here is actually represented here. We have the ID, logo, title, home text, contact email, contact number, created data, updated data, and an action over the same. Now let's create new. Now this logo is an image. This logo is an image. Now where do we edit that? We go to controllers, we go to settings controller, we go to the bottom, we have form. Now this is where we configure the form details over here. Now if you want to configure what or how the data appears here, we'll go to settings controller, and then it's on the grid, protected function grid. But for the form, we are going to use protected function form and configure anything we need to be on the form when creating a new form. Now the logo is an image. It is not a text. The logo is an image. Now, probably, or not probably, you'll get an error saying disk admin is not configured in, please add a disk config in config file systems.php. Now, this is what we do to solve this issue. We have to find this file, which is always there, definitely. It's in config file systems.php. Now we'll go towards the bottom over here. We are going to create an admin instance over here for us to actually store everything as per Laravel admin, right? Now this is what we are going to write. We'll create admin, and being an array, this is what we'll do. Now what's the driver? The driver is local. We'll use local, this local over here. However, I need to change some things. I'll change the root. My root will be the public path. I need to store them in the public folder over there, as opposed to the storage folder. So we'll have the public path. And let's create a folder maybe called uploads. All uploads will go in here. What next do we need? We need to set the URL. So we will combine it with the env app URL, and then it's in the uploads folder that I've created, definitely. So it is /upload. So anything uploaded, once it's reading the URL, it will read the name of the .env app URL, that is the project URL, what is actually written in the .env over here. So I need to change here basically to this, what I'm using currently as my app URL, right? So it can be localhost and the port number is 8000, or it can be 127.0.0.1 and port 8000. And then, so when it's reading my image, where is it actually going to access my file or image? For this case, it's going to read the app and then the uploads folder, sorry, and then the name of the file itself. Okay. Okay, the next thing I need to do, I need to set the visibility to public. I'll have public over there. Now, once I come back and refresh this thing, the error will be gone. Sorry, there's a problem that I've added. It's saying, oh, I terminated instead of come over there. Public path. So in a moment, it will just come back. It's still using cache. That is what it was displaying. So we have the title, text, contact email, contact number. Now we can add all these sets of data. No, I'll return the text to the text because I know it's not something big. The email and the number will remain the same for that case. So let's look for the logo. Let's look for the logo. I'm looking for a logo currently. Not that. Oh, I have a logo somewhere. It's in my desktop. It's my Laravel, it's my YouTube, it's my home UI. So I have a logo. This is the logo, and we'll have the title, maybe welcome to Code Tank. And then lastly, we'll have home text. Our home text may be something like we do programming and encourage you to do more. Maybe our email and our contact number, something like that. Now, what do we do next? We can view, or we can continue creating or continue editing while submitting. Now, I need to choose this choice for me, or I can also leave it. I can just submit and it takes me over here. Now, you'll notice that I have everything. Now, the details are added to the database. They're already added here. That is how simple Laravel Admin is. It makes your work very easy. So we have the image name, the home title, the text, the contact email, contact number, plus other fields that are over here. Now what do we do next? We need to actually display our logo, because it's not good each and every time going over and over this thing. Now, as I said previously, we'll need to check on settings controller, and everything over there is on our grid over here, right? So this image is this logo is an image, but when I add it this way, it won't really work. Now the reason why it doesn't work is because, just a moment, the reason why it doesn't work is because there are a lot of things it doesn't know. It doesn't know what you really mean. It doesn't know whether image, basically what we normally use here is a column, not the image. Okay, now if you use image, it doesn't understand what you really mean, and it doesn't want to tell you, okay, you're making a mistake. So we'll have it as an image. Now an image without a path won't work too. It will display an error. So what we really need to do is that we need to say it's an image, but we need to display the path of the image itself. So I'll use my app URL, config or env app URL, or I can use config app.url, and then I can set it to, it's in uploads folder, right? And basically I need to maybe set it height 50 and the width of 50 over there, column. Now if I do that, it really appears here. One thing to note is that let me just try and remove this over here and see what happens. As I was saying previously, it doesn't know the path basically. Okay, it knows. I've never noticed this, but this is what I knew. We have to set the path. Okay, in some instances you have to set the path because it doesn't really know where you're installing it, but in some instances, since we defined it in the file systems, there's no problem. So I'll have the logo, I'll have the home title, the text, contact email, contact number, plus many other details. Now, how do we display this data over here? Now, it's quite simple. There are very many ways to do it, and I also do it differently, but in this tutorial I'll try and do it very differently for that case. Now I'll create a PHP function over here, or PHP over here. I'll use that PHP, and then I'll end PHP. Now I need to fetch the details from the settings database over here. Now what do? I'll have settings, I'll have database, DB table. Okay, let me have data, and then I'll have DB table, settings, and then I'll get the first one. So let me just use first. Right. Now anywhere I'll try and refer to this data, it will be automatically be known in this particular view. It's bringing an error, I don't know why. Okay. let's see why. Let me just do this. Let me check why. Let me try and run the server again. Oh, this is the wrong URL, sorry. This is the right URL. So anything that will be displayed over here, it actually knows this data as a variable. Now we can introduce this data over here into the system. Now to start with, let's begin with the logo itself. Let's begin with the logo. Where is our logo? Our logo is somewhere. We have our nav and then we have our logo.png. Now I'll use asset. Don't forget about that when calling any assets in your project. And what do we have? We only have uploads, and then we'll have a slash. And the next thing is that we need to introduce that variable, data variable, and then the column name is logo. I return the logo over there. And then the next thing we really need to do is actually close this and then close these curly braces and refresh and see whether it works or it returns. Now if I use a different path, let's see whether it will work or not work. It doesn't work, right? It's an error. But if I refresh, it's over here. Now you in case you want to confirm where the uploads is, it's in public and then uploads, and then you see these images over here. Now the good thing about Laravel Admin is that if you upload an image, it uploads it to the image and the folder you have set. If it's a video, it's a video and then the path you have set. Now we need to add this home text, right? This home title, right? So we'll still use data, and we'll use home title over here. And home title. The next thing we need to set is this home text. So we'll set it over here. Home data as a variable and then home text. Right. Now if I refresh this page real quick, you'll notice that the data have just added themselves, like welcome to Contact, we love programming. We do programming and encourage you to do more. The next thing we are going to add is our logo down here. Now since I had added it over here, I'll just pick it in the footer section. So I have a section called footer, and what do I need to do? I need to add my logo, and the next thing I need to add is my contact information, like the email. It's called contact email. I wish I could have named it email at first. We have email, and then next we have contact number. So we have contact number. And there we are. Now you can go back and refresh the page and see every piece of data is defined. It's contact email, not email, right? So if you check over here, we have the logo set, the home text, we have the home text, the home title. We also have the contact information, contact number, and the logo over here. With that being said, let's go next. And now what are we going to do next? Let's go next and check how we can add these particular agencies or partners. Now for the agencies, this is what we really need to do. Actually, we only have an image over here. So I'll go back to my admin dashboard, that is the Laravel admin, and let's create a model. So we are going to create a model, and we are going to call the model agencies, or maybe partners. Let me call it partner, and I'll make a migration over for the same. With that being said, I'll go to my database and check on migrations, and I'll create only an image. It's only an image and I only need the name for that case. So we'll have a table and I'll use a string and I'll have the name, okay, image, something like that. Now what do I do next? The next thing to do probably is to create a controller, right? Or let's migrate it first. PHP artisan migrate. When I migrate, it normally happens. The partners table will be over here with different columns, that is ID, image, and the timestamps. Okay, now let's create a controller, and this controller again will appear in the controllers folder over here. So we'll have PHP artisan admin make. In the normal controller we use PHP artisan make controller, but in Laravel admin we use PHP artisan admin make, and then we're going to have a controller. Not controller, we call the controller name, okay, it is partner controller. Last but not least, we'll have the model. What is the model? The model we have just created right now is partner, okay, app models partner. Now if in case you're asking why I'm using this double slashes instead of one, I don't also know why. It's in the documentation, sincerely speaking. Now we'll pick this and add it in our routes file. Don't forget where the routes is in app admin, and then we have the routes over here. So we'll have here. Today I'm not commenting anything. So we have partners. So we'll go and create our menu. We'll go to menu and create what we call partner. And maybe for partner, let me just use image 2. Image 2, so I'll have this image, this or this, this or this. Let me use this, okay, let me use this. And then it's partners over here. So we'll have partners. So we'll have to submit, and let me move it just below dashboard and save. So if I reload this page real quick, you'll see partner appears over here, right? Now I've just remembered something, don't worry about it. If I actually need to use settings, for the sake of clarity, let me use, instead of data, let me use settings, $ settings, okay. And I know there's no probability of me having an error because it's only used for settings alone. Okay, good, we are there. So what do we do next? We need to, what do we do next? We need to actually populate this particular field with our partner. So I'll create a new, no, it should be an image. Then I browse my images. Now I need to retain my images. Let me save dribble. Okay, I can download another dribble image anyway. Dribble image logo, not logi. So I can use, which one should I use? Let me use this guy. Bin downloads, okay. Dribble with double B, mine is single B. Can have Invento, or I can also use this anyway. Okay, fine. Now let's upload an image. I forgot that I had them, images, and then agency. I have brand, not this, team, not this, icon, not this, brand. Okay, so I can use dribble and just upload it. Can also upload a new image, and let's say I need Invento, upload it. We can also have another one, and the other one will be Insta, just upload it. Now with that being said, let's first change over here, and it's already over here as partner controller. So we'll just need to go to our grid over here, and basically what do? We need to we need to add image, right? And then we need to reload, the image will appear. Now, as you have noticed, while I was creating a new image over here, it automatically suggested it was an image based on the fact that it has a name called image. Now, that is how intelligent Laravel Admin is. Once it knows it's an image from the column in database when creating a migration, now when I'm creating a controller, it will automatically know it's an image and it will create that for us instead of us creating. Now, how do we display our partners here that we have? How many partners do we have currently? We only have 3 partners, not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, I'll also create another variable. Let me call it partners. Kindly notice this is how I don't do it, but this is for starters. This is how you can do it. We can have partners, and we can get partners because we really need all the partners. So where are my partners currently? My partners are just below this particular page. So here are my partners. It's a list, so I have to look through a list to actually display everything over here. So I have for each images, not images, partners as partner. And then what do we do next to end for each? Right? Now, if I do this, they'll actually appear 3. 1, 2, 3, but all are dribbled based on this, and then we need to display that particular image. So first things first, it's in the asset, it's an asset. The second thing, it's in the upload folder. The next thing we really need to do is identify the column name. So we have partner and the column name is image, right? So if I refresh this page real quick, let's see whether they appear. And they don't, because I have upload instead of uploads. And there we are, we have Dribble, Inventor, and Instagram. Now that is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Now we are done with a few sections. Now the next thing probably we want to do is that we need to upload our various projects. Now for this, we need to create projects model and create a migration for the same. So we'll have PHP artisan make model, create a model called, let's call it maybe project singular, and we'll have a migration called projects table. So we'll navigate to database migrations and we'll go to create over here. I know it's the last one even if I can't see it. So what do we need for the projects? First, we need the project name. We need a project name basically, right? So what do? We need the project name. So it's a string and it's a name, right? The next thing we really need is what you call an image. So we'll have image, and then lastly we'll have, I don't know what this design is, I'll have to ignore it for now. So what do we do next? We have a name and an image for that case, and maybe let's add a URL to make it interesting. Let's add link so that when someone clicks, it takes him to that particular project. Okay. Now, Sindio actually means yes in Kiswahili. So what do we need to do next? We need to add link. Okay. And that being said, let's do a migration. PHP artisan migrate. Good. So what happens here? We have an image. Good. So the next thing we probably need to do is map the model to a controller. So the model name is project, And for that case, you're going to create a controller called project controller. Click enter, and you're going to have this over here. So we'll go to app, http admin, and the routes over here. So the URI over here, it's project. So we'll navigate to Laravel admin here, and we'll go to our menu, and we'll create what we call projects over here, projects. And our URI, how should I identify projects? Let me use this because I can't see any of them using it. And then we'll have projects. And boom, submit. And I'll just take it way below dashboard over here, save, reload the page. And I already have my projects over here. So I have a name, I have an image, and I have a link and other details. So I'll create a new. Now it needs a link. Very, very interesting. So what do we need first? We need the name, maybe Facebook website. I didn't create Facebook, it's been there for long. Facebook logo, Facebook logo. So I have Facebook logo over here. Where is it? Let me use this. I don't know how big it will appear in my pages. I need 600 by 433. This will be too small, but I hope it will auto adjust based on my styling. Let me call it Facebook. Okay, FB icon. And if I navigate over here, I can browse and look for Facebook icon. Okay, the next thing is input the link. Maybe let's say it's facebook.com. Okay, and submit. Over there we can change the image to image. Now it's in project controller, and we'll go over here. It's in the grid. I'll have image. Image is an image. Good. Now we have an image, we have the link, and we have any other details. Now we need to display it over here. Don't forget, all the other tables are usually created when migrating. We have the settings, project, and the partners tables over there. Now we need to display that set of data over here. Now what do? We can go to welcome, create another variable. Let's say maybe projects. Now we need to read projects table, table. So we have projects, and we are going to get everything over there. Now what do we need to do next? We need to take these projects as a variable and introduce it now and loop so that we can actually display all the data. I suppose it's over here. We have a row with several columns, right? So I'll retain the first one and remove the rest. No, it's not there. This is our projects. It's below the projects, slightly below the projects. So we have the projects, what you can do, and we have slightly below the what you can do. So we have projects. So I'll navigate to here. It's over here. I can see very many things. I can see the design I was ignoring at first. So I'll return the first one. The first one being this, just inside the row. And I'll have to remove actually everything that is over here. Now we need to loop through this particular one that is remaining here. There we are. And loop through it so that we can display the other results, which I don't have basically. It's only one. So we'll have for each. Now we created a variable called projects as project. Being that it's only one, it will only display one basically. Then we need to end for each. What do we need to do next? We need to display our image. So being that this is similar, I'll have to select all of it over here. So the first thing is an asset. The next thing, it's in the uploads folder. And the last thing is that we need to call this particular variable called project, so it's a project image, right? Good. Now if I refresh the page, what happens? Let's see what happens. So it's over here, we have the Facebook, and as one of our project we need to add the title. We need to add that particular title. It's called, the title is the name in our database. So we have asset, we have uploads, and what do we have next? We have project, and then next we have it's not an image, sorry. We have at project, we have $sign project, variable project, and then we have to call the name. And then let's create maybe href over here, and then link, let's call it link, right? And let's have a h target, let's set it to blank, and let's give it a href. Now what is our href? We'll have the project as the variable, and then we'll have link as stated, right? So when I come and refresh this page real quick, you'll see that we can have it here, and we can have the link. If I click the link, it goes to facebook.com over there. And with that being said, that is how we have created this over here. Now what's the next thing that we possibly need to do is that we need to add what we do over here. So we have like an icon, which is an image, and the title. I'll not focus much on what is down here. Okay, we can also add it. So first things first, let's create a model, and the model will be called maybe our works. Next thing we need to do basically is go to our works table, to our works migration, and create a table for this for the same. So we'll have a table, and the table string, and the first thing that we need is a logo, which is an image. Let me just call it an image. And we'll also have a string, and it's a title, and we'll also have a table, and it will be type string, and then we'll also call it what we do. Okay, let me just call it a text. What we do is a very long text, and it can't work unless we have, it has spaces basically. That is why it can't work. So what do we do next? We have to create a migration. PHP, we have to migrate, PHP artisan migrate. And then the next thing is that we need to connect our controller to our model, so that it displays, we create a controller for the same. So we have app models, and then we have work, and let's call it work controller. And then we have here, we need to add this into our routes. Feels like I'm operating like a robot currently, because everything is just working as said. So we need to create a menu with URI as works. So we go to admin menu as works, and not works is the title. And let me use this, and let's give it a URI of works, and submit. Now I'll put it after projects and save. Now what do we do next? We need to check, we have image title text, so we need to add an image. Let me use this image. Let me check the path, not download basically. So we have the image in the agency folder, so I'll just choose an image, You can choose any image for your test purposes. Where was it? Agency icons. So I'll go to browse. Again, you can use any image of your choice, being that this is something that you are trying to learn. Images, agencies, and then we'll have icon, and then we'll have this icon. Let's say website fixing, website bug fixing, and then right over here, web bug fixing, and then we'll submit, and then we'll set this to image. So we'll go to, let me remove this, we'll go to our work controller, and we'll basically come over here to grid, and then we'll set this to image, right? And I'll refresh this. You'll see there's a work here, there's a website bug fixing over here. Now the next thing, we need to display this over here, right? Now I'll go to settings controller, not really. I'll go to our welcome, create a new variable at works. So I'll have db table works static, and then I'll get all the works, right? And then I'll have this variable and loop through it to display everything basically, because it's going to read some data from the database, which are several. So I had it initially, so I'll remove this 3, this 2, and remain with 1. I remove this 2 and remain with this one alone, right? And then I'll loop through it, that is for each works as work, and then end for each. So it's basically 1. So we'll have to set the image over here. First things first, we need to have asset, and then it's in the uploads folder, and then we need to get that particular image and close it, and then we need to have a work name, or how did we call it? We actually had title and the text. Okay, so we'll have title, and then lastly we have the text. Right, now if I come and refresh this page really quick, we'll see that we have website bug fixing and we have bug fixing. So far so good. We have over here, we have our about, we have our projects, we don't have a testimonial currently. We need to add our team. Now, as an assignment, I would really like you to add something on how do we add the testimonials. How do we really display these testimonials? I need to have an image for the same. I need to have the sentiments by the person, and we can also have the name and maybe the profession. I've already given you the columns. We have the image, we have the text, we have the name, and we also have something you call the role or profession. And for the team here, create a database, that a migration that will have image. Maybe you can add your image over there while uploading. You can also have the name, and you can also have the profession. Now with that being said, let me go and check real quick. Subscribe to newsletter. I'll do the newsletter part. Now for the newsletter part, I just need an email. And I'll make a module called subscription. Right now, I'll only have an email over here. I'll not show you how to send emails in this tutorial, but in the next tutorial, I'll show you on how to send emails from your system to a user. Actually, I'll go to controllers and okay, I'm creating subscriptions, so I'll go to database, I'll go to migrations over here. So I'll only need the email over here. So I'll have a table, it's an email, okay, and then I'll migrate php artisan migrate. What next do I need to do? The next thing I probably need to do is create a controller. So I'll have subscription controller and subscription. So I've been told to pick this and add it in my routes. So I'll go my routes. This is admin route, not the user route. So we'll have subscription. So I'll go to menu and I'll create something called subscriptions. And I'll also have a URI called subscriptions, right? And I'll have there's no mail, there's no email. What will I use now? So let me just use something random. Submit. So we have subscriptions and I'll place subscriptions over here. Right, then refresh the page. So we have subscriptions over here. Now we need to see the people will subscribe to our system. We'll not be adding every email manually like admin, no. Someone needs to add his email over here so that it's actually added over there. Now, how do we do it? Quite simple. From the previous tutorial, if you have not checked Laravel Beginner Series 1, creating a blog, you should check it. That will give you a clear understanding of how will I actually pick the emails and how will I prevent clashes when adding emails. I'll leave that as an assignment for you to do because it's quite easy. I can give you a clue. The first thing you really need to do is to actually, in your form, it's a form basically. Let me go to where the form is. Subscribe. We'll need to add form over here. And in this form, it must have CSRF, and we'll also give this particular input of a name and give it email. Right. We'll give it email, and this we need to set it to a button, like it will be submit, so that if you submit this, we also need to actually display the errors somewhere. We can actually display them over here. We can create another row and display the errors over here, right here. If you're wondering how to display the errors, once you have your code in the backend and you know how to set the session success and the session error messages, over here you just use session. You'll check if session has success, session success. If session has success, then session gets success, it will display. If session has error, then session display error. Or you can use for all errors that you can count. If they're greater than 0, what do? You take all the errors and you use the function all, and then we get a specific particular error and then display the error. If I've not checked Laravel 1 series, please go and check it, and it will give you a better understanding of what I'm meaning right now. With that being said, I think that is a perfect introduction to what I've said. In the next tutorial, we'll talk about how to send emails from one user to another, and then after that, I'll create also another tutorial using Laravel Admin of how to create, maybe we'll say we look for a system and create. I'm waiting for suggestions over the same. Thank you, and please like, share, and subscribe with your friends. Thank you.